Tell me how this project came to be and what the goal of it was.
So the federal government has a grant called Safe Streets for All. It is a grant that allows communities to create a safety action plan, which is what we're doing here today. We applied for that grant and we were awarded $200,000. We do have a $50,000 match that we have to do. What this is that we ask the public for input as well as crash data in order to come up with a plan and implement certain conceptuals later down the road.
And the purpose of this meeting is to get more people in the public involved in the project you choose, is that correct?
It is. It is to get the public's involvement. We do have crash data, which we already have looked at and analyzed, but sometimes it's good for people to say, if there's like a new intersection that we don't have the crash data for yet, be like, there's been 5 wrecks there in the past year. Or if there is like a long-term problem there that they've seen their entire life because they've lived in the area, it is a way for us to make sure that we get the local knowledge and not just the data.
Priority will go to underserved areas first, is that correct?
We are focusing on underserved areas. The grant really does focus on people who traditionally do not get the help. What we are looking at is people who bike or walk, and that is their only mode of transportation. So if they want to go to the grocery store, it's either by bus, walking, or biking, and they don't have the luxuries that we often have of using a car.
And what will be the next step?
The consultant will be having different pop-up meetings in some areas such as underserved communities so that we can get input from citizens who may not be able to attend meetings like this. So that will be the next step, and then after that we will have identified the areas that we will focus on, and then we will get conceptual plans for individual intersections or areas that there are concerns for.
It's an opportunity over here, either one of these maps, to be able to make a note.
Safety patrol is one of the first departments that gets cut with the police department.
Sure. I'm with Bolton and Mink, and we're a consulting engineering firm working with the county from a planning perspective. It's a comprehensive safety action plan that's funded by the federal government, and so we're helping them obtain all the technical information and all the data that will go into informing this report. We're of course getting all the public input. We'll be having this public hearing. We'll be meeting with different stakeholder groups such as the schools, the police departments, those kinds of folks, different transportation planning offices to get their input as well. And then we'll also be going out to the underserved communities. We have 6 different public meetings that we'll be doing there, dropping out into the neighborhoods and getting their input. And so really what we want to do is just come up with a plan for Anderson County to improve their traffic safety within the county. So that's our goal.
That's good. Do you see, is this a challenge everywhere, this road safety thing? Y'all see a lot of this?
Absolutely. We see different modifications with vehicles and different things that can help make our roadways safer. We're seeing more roundabouts, more technology when it comes to traffic signals and things like that. But we see an increase in traffic, and the possibilities of having these traffic crashes just increase. And so we want to do our best to try to keep those to zero.
Steve, I think when most people think about roads, they're thinking about fixing potholes or fixing their road. They don't think about safety. How did the issue of public safety come up when you were planning all this?
Well, we had an opportunity to pursue a Safe Streets for All planning grant. Now, this was a federal grant that we went after and we were fortunate enough to get, and it didn't involve a local match. There was no expense to the local taxpayer. Big difference, I think, between this exercise we're doing today and kind of the general condition of the roads and such is that we all know of roads where there are potholes, there are other impediments, they really need to be improved. But we also, if you look at these maps, there are a lot of accidents that we have in Anderson County. The map behind me, the high injury network, there's a lot of dots on there. Each one of those dots represents a fatal accident between the periods of 2017 and 2024. So that's kind of what we're trying to focus on here, is try to identify through data and through public input these areas where we need to take a closer look at things, and hopefully through this planning exercise, which is a mix of data collection and also public input, we will be able to find a way to focus grant resources and other resources towards improving some of these situations that people are encountering on a day-to-day basis.
And this sort of helps the areas that need it the most, right? Is that what they're trying to kind of help identify with this?
Yes, sir. I mean, it's a process because it's quite a process to go through, because the things that people deal with every day in their own neighborhood, of course, that's the most immediate importance to them. I understand that completely. I think we all do. So we're trying to come up with a way to look at a data-driven exercise, but also by engaging the public, make sure that we're not missing anything. And that will help us later on when we approach the public about prioritization and other projects that we might be able to do to improve some of these conditions.
And citizens who depend on biking or walking to work are particularly at risk for some of these things. Is that correct?
I would say so, Greg. I get around through the city of Anderson a lot. You wouldn't, if you go down Fant Street, for instance, at particular times of day, usually very early in the morning or getting close to dark, you're going to see people walking a lot on Fant Street. If you look closely, you're going to see they're wearing their name tags from places where they work, such as AnMed or the Wendy's or wherever. They're walking down Fant Street to get back home. They're walking to and from work. That's something to think about because not everybody has access to a vehicle. We do have a good transit system in the greater Anderson area, but a lot of times the bus schedule doesn't coincide with people's work schedules. And so that's something I think we need to keep in mind as we go through this exercise. We also see a lot of pedestrian crash data along Shockley Ferry Road. So that kind of surprised me when I saw that, but then I started paying attention. Sure enough, seeing a heck of a lot of people walking around up and down Shockley Ferry several different times a day. Again, seeing name tags, places where they might work.
This seems like a part of that bigger vision. Rusty Burns always talks about serving all the citizens.
Right.
It seems like a bigger vision that's part of that piece of the puzzle, serving all citizens.
Yes.
Including those that walk back and forth to work.
That's right, and that's something that we can't overlook, this idea of serving all the citizens. Unfortunately, a lot of citizens just don't have the time available to them with everything that they've got going on in their lives. Heck, a lady I talked to over at a local fast food restaurant at least once a week, she's working 3 jobs. She doesn't have a chance to come to a meeting like this. All we have is data to go on and the testimony that we get from people who are here telling us about their problems. But we really have to keep an eye out and keep in mind those folks who, they have a voice, but they don't have a way to express it effectively. They don't have access to the internet so that they can participate in some of these surveys that we're doing as part of this and other things. So a lot of that's going to be driven by the data that we see, seeing a particular area in an underserved neighborhood where there is a lot of crash data. And even though we might not see people here tonight or any time during the process coming out to talk about it, the reality is still there.